Citizens of the Reject Nation, we are here to watch Ahsoka episode Dose today. If you didn't catch our reaction to episode 1, that is, of course, live here on the channel. John, you good?
Yeah, I suck good.
Okay, Michael?
Almost.
It's episode 2.
Follow it up. Yeah, there you go. That's
It's
great.
Attack of the
clones.
of the
what?
the-
what are we doing?
the Clan Ren. Attack of the.
Oh, God. This is not the intro I wanted it to be. This is not
This
the
is
intro.
not the intro you're looking
This
for.
is not the intro you're looking for. Alrighty, guys, we'll use the Force to leave a like. All right, guys, whatever, let's go into it. Not crap, I keep forgetting to do this. All right, we'll like reaction watch along for super sexy rejects at our Patreon page. You see them with your own copy of Ahsoka. We also cover things exclusively over there. Several shows, reaction highlights, and watch-alongs included. Thank you to all who have joined. Let's get to it. I'm just so anxious.
But you and I both know Sabine gives you the best chance of reading that map.
That just looks like a different galaxy.
This isn't just about finding Ezra. It's about preventing another war.
We've been looking for this.
The dread.
That's too bad.
Sabine.
You're annoying me.
I unlocked it.
So you went to the right
There were
person.
2 galaxies.
Did you keep a record of what you found?
The droids destroyed it.
How many droids were there?
2. I took one out.
Formidable droids.
You need my help.
No. You've done enough.
Clearly.
Ooh. I could hear Anakin saying that to her.
Yeah.
Got him a
You ever
guff
get
in the
stabbed
hunt.
and have to roll your eyes at the same time?
Such a vibe.
I know, the haunting samurai affect is so cool.
His presence is extraordinary.
Place the Palantir.
Terror, I believe we have located the reflex point on Cetos.
Damn. They are steps ahead. Surrounded by giant taser liths.
Such a
Purgil?
rebel's conundrum. 2 steps
Purgil.
forward.
Purgil.
For real?
Purgil. Toil in trouble.
Double.
Baylan seemed to fear the Purgil in that
Well,
moment.
the Purgil would be the way to travel from that destination. As if there's a hyperspace lane there
Yeah.
or something. But we've never left the galaxy before.
Good buddy.
Oh, there we go. Thanks for the heads up. Oh, that's smart. She asked earlier how many droids there were.
She still got it.
Oh, great attention to detail of how heavy it felt.
Take off an arm or leg and it just keeps coming.
Oh, the humanity.
You can recover the droid's memory.
And find out where it came from. Very clever. Perhaps we should perform this operation somewhere else.
I say go for it.
Because you're a hologram.
Damn.
Whoa.
It's a thing like this in the movie Alien 3.
It's overheating. Switch it off.
Not yet.
Come on.
Hera just watches all of her friends blow up.
I'm pulling the plug.
Oh, wait.
You got it.
This droid came here from Corellia.
Okay.
Ooh.
The New Republic shipyard?
Corellian stuff.
Morgan Elsbeth had factories on Corellia.
Her Imperial operation should have been dismantled after the rebellion.
Unless.
Let's get going.
You need to recover.
I'm fine.
It's only a flesh wound.
Let them have a scene.
You did good.
Tell that to her.
You need to help each other.
You heard her. She doesn't want my help.
Yes, she does.
She can be a little stubborn too.
Now get some rest. You're gonna need it.
Hera's such a special character.
Hera's become a full-blown general.
Meanwhile,
Do some witch magic. Let's get some green flames going.
Oh man, I would love to see some of that in live action.
Get some green flames.
witchcraft.
But does she possess it, or is she just a descendant of it?
This place was not built by the Jedi. Whose work is it?
An ancient people from a distant galaxy.
Fascinating.
Would you like to see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
If this is what I think it is, I think this may be the beginning of the Gris.
Oh, really?
Someone's getting circumcised?
Green.
Oh. Sweet. Just once in this life, I want to stand inside of a hologram orb.
I mean, this is why Thrawn joined the Empire.
He needed allies.
He feared this.
Oh.
Yeah, those are Purgil.
Target acquired.
That, while Grand Admiral Thrawn is banished.
Wow.
Thrawn calls to me. Across time and space.
We're going to be going to some unknown regions.
The Eye of Sion is on its way here.
I have Sion.
Marok will complete his task.
See that he does.
What are they working with? Like, what's their motivation?
Not the first Jedi to veer off course. Count Dooku had noble intentions once.
What happens when we find Thrawn?
For some, war. For others,
Hope. New beginning.
new beginning.
And for us?
Power.
Power.
This is a fascinating setup. I mean, if you were to feel so helpless during Order 66, power.
Never feel helpless again.
Yeah.
This was always one of my... Oh, wait a second. That's, from the Ghost.
Isn't that Hera ship?
Hey.
Yes, it's the little ship that's part of the Ghost.
Yeah.
We'd appreciate a look at her former facilities and operations.
Well, I am quite busy at the moment.
Clearly.
I could make this a more formal inspection if you'd like.
That won't be necessary, General. Please, this way.
Man, New Republic bureaucracy.
An empire doesn't just become a republic overnight. You will still find ex-imperials at every level of the New Republic government.
That's reassuring.
Don't you worry about their loyalty?
Not at all. The average worker doesn't care about the nuances of galactic politics.
And you?
I'm a businessman, General. My loyalty is to my investors. I'll leave the politics up to you.
Dark side.
Long time ago in a capitalist hellscape far away.
Late stage capitalism at its finest, boys.
I was wondering if you would consider bringing her back on as your apprentice.
No.
Maybe we're both past that.
I think she could use some structure. So could you.
Ahsoka you.
You could use a little bit of your old spunk.
What makes someone ready?
You just know.
Like love.
So do they.
I love you too, Greg.
Yeah.
I know.
I know.
Whoa.
Anyone could get stabbed with a lightsaber.
It's like one of those old shots
It's like
they
the
used to
first
give
one to
from
survive
malaria.
a direct stab like that.
I don't know. There was that one person in Obi-Wan.
I don't know who you're talking about. I don't want to talk about that.
I see you still have your lightsaber.
Ezra's lightsaber.
He passed it on to you.
It's
You
yours.
have since made your own modifications. So it is now your lightsaber.
Hey, if Huyang says so, it's yours.
Have you kept up with your training?
Obviously not.
Well, perhaps it is time to begin again.
What about everyone's on this mission?
She quit on me.
The past is the past. Move forward.
Let it die. Kill it if you have to.
General Syndulla thought your insights would be valuable. And Lady Tano agreed.
This feels so much more like a Sabine show.
You have never indicated that you want to come back.
Forgot how annoying you are.
Logical.
Don't worry, you're a great middleman of you.
I never had the talent, the abilities. Not like Ezra.
That much is true. I have known many Padawans over the centuries. Your aptitude for the Force would fall short of them all.
I see your game.
The only time you are wasting is your own.
Take it.
It's Rebels music.
Our board and primary investors have first look at all unique hardware, its price point and distribution.
Is that a hyperdrive core?
Oh, man.
What class of starship are they for?
Let's see.
Row.
Classified. I'm a general. Nothing's classified to me.
Who?
I cannot unseal the document without authorization.
It's above your pay
Well, then I'm
grade.
authorizing it.
I'm not sure you can.
What the hell?
What other types of droids do you have in operation here? No HK class?
Assassin droid. I should think not.
I have seen such a droid. I catalog inventory on arriving transports.
Oh, he knows something.
Where is this droid now?
I believe it is departing on that transport.
Oh, great.
Well, stop it.
Stop that shit.
I can't do that, General. They've been cleared for departure.
No! Stop him!
Quick draw.
Whoa! Did he just lose an arm?
Yeah,
Sure did.
Oh. Yeah, we don't worry about the Imperial sympathizers.
We don't worry about loyalty here.
Yeah.
Goddamn Ahsoka. Oh, goddamn Ahsoka. The entrances you make.
Exits, really.
Extrances.
Just throw your lightsaber.
Oh.
Do a ray.
Is that-
force pull
Is
it?
that an Inquisitor?
A former Inquisitor?
He's got an Inquisitor
Yeah,
lightsaber.
that's...
Oh yeah, he was with them earlier. With Baylan and them earlier.
Did he have the lightsaber out?
It looked like half a lightsaber hilt of an Inquisitor, and that is definitively a red lightsaber.
God, these money shots.
Oh.
Money shots, man.
Jeez, look at that stance. Ah, you punk.
Warm up round.
Sweet.
Cool.
JJ.
Who are you?
That is a great question.
Gateway to the mind's eye.
This is General Syndulla. I order you to stand down and return to port immediately.
We're gonna see Syndulla do some piloting in live action.
Come on. Whoa.
Right now would be a good time to bring in the ghost. Chopper. Oh boy.
Keep your lid on, Chop.
Chop. Dang. Woo. Ugh. That's for Sabine.
Yeah. Oh, sweet.
Nice.
If this is a familiar face.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely...
Whoa. Whoa.
Jesus. Such a cool shot.
That's amazing.
Can't just shoot it down. It would crash into the port city.
Collateral damage.
And don't miss this time.
I never miss.
Yeah. Who is this guy?
Why does he only have armor on his upper half?
What a great aerial sequence.
What a great way to do a locked off shot, but with a subject.
No, I did not go through your stuff. Did you look under the backup battery?
Found it. Oh.
Wow.
Wow.
Sick.
Jeez.
Who is this dude? Oh my goodness.
Jesus.
Just a whole bunch. What?
Oh, what a boss.
Just all the alliances on this team here. You got Witch, you got some middle ground Jedi stuff.
It's all the remnants.
A former Inquisitor?
All the malevolent remnants.
Yeah.
Get ready.
Go.
Woo. Yeah, Chopper.
Yeah.
Nice.
Way to go, Chopper.
Good work, Chop. You got him.
Yeah.
Tell me you have good news.
We got a tracking device on that transport.
All right, then.
Game on.
All right.
Rosario Dawson does play her a lot more stoic.
I hope that changes as we make progress here.
I'm telling you, Sabine's
Little
going to
Ashley
bring
Eckstein
back some of
magic.
that moxie.
I mean, she's aged, though, you know?
But she's still Ahsoka.
But I'm justifying, you know?
Just in case they don't give me
Defending, you know? It's got to, until we're at the last episode.
Surprised they haven't touched on the Darksaber at all yet.
What does it matter? It's broken now.
It's sad.
Mandalorian ruined it.
Yo.
She's got the same path as Grogu. Am I a Mandalorian
not
or
so
my
Jedi?
Can I be both?
Going to go drop her off with Luke.
During her training with Kanan, because she wasn't the strongest with the Force, he had her use these traditional Mandalorian things to compensate. I hope that we see some of that.
Put it on. Oh.
Yo, sick. This is the way.
Oh, she's going to cut her hair. She can do action hero cutting hair.
And give herself a perfect bob.
Cut it without looking in the mirror. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh.
The classic Sabine hair. Just leaves the hair on the ground.
How can they still be loyal to the Empire?
It's not loyalty.
It's greed.
It's greed.
On a roll.
You're on a roll. It's almost like there's reoccurring themes that are always happening in Star Wars.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh.
Yeah, classic.
I'm ready.
Smile. Take it.
I know. Gotta get you a big chair to sit on now.
Oh, is this the ending of Rebels? Is that what we're doing right now?
Oh, I believe it may be exactly that.
Yeah, we're redoing it. She's not draped in white.
Unless that already happened, but they're starting over again.
This is poetry, it rhymes.
Does it? Or is it just an homage to it? Yeah.
Nice haircut.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's just an homage.
More me.
You got perfect layers with that one knife swipe. It's crazy.
We better get moving.
Tacitos. Just the scope of these things, the lighting and everything is beautiful.
Take us out. Padawan.
Oh. Yes, master.
Maybe they're just... Booyah! Maybe they're just redefining what it means to be a Jedi.
Oh, sick. Look at this super hyperspace.
Whoa.
Intergalactic hyperspace drive.
Oh. So friggin' ominous.
Soon the Eye of Sion will be complete, and we shall deliver Grand Admiral Thrawn.
The Eye of Sauron.
The appearance of Ahsoka Tano on Corellia troubles you.
It does.
He has history with her.
Her presence in the Force is elusive, yet her determination is vivid. To kill her would be a shame.
Ooh.
There are so few Jedi left.
What's your game, man?
Truth.
I really love the look of this show. Yeah. Even the way the hologram had that kind of like ripple effect happening.
Yeah, it's like it's actual particulate kind of percolating. Yeah.
Seth Green.
Robot chicken makes sense. Animation.
I don't think it's perfect.
Pick those nits.
Oh yeah, you know, I'll be picking those nits.
Got to get every part of the Star Wars market.
Take it away, John.
This was quite enjoyable. I have been very much enjoying the... it makes sense as to why they put these 2 episodes out in tandem. It does feel like, yeah, this is the first act of the journey. We're culminating everything. We've set all the pieces, but it just maintained, at least through these 2 episodes, through 2 different directors and whatnot, it just has maintained this very assured, confident steadiness of hand. And yeah, I really enjoy the space that they communicate all this stuff with. They give everything its time, and you're able to kind of get pulled into, that there is something like melancholy at the core, and there's like a pall hanging over our main Rebels crew, and then you also have this sort of like very at ease, dark presence, especially with Baylan, what's his name? Bones or something? Baylan Hell? Something. Skull. There you go. Baylan Skoll. There you go. I don't know.
When in doubt, just go with the first name.
Yes, Baylan. I don't know. Like, it still feels like this momentous kind of neck and neck, hunt, cat and mouse almost, but also just whilst taking its time. Like, I think that's just a testament to how well this has been kind of paced and conceived, is that it's never feels rushed, but it also feels like it's fully able to spread out and take its time without indulging too heavily in that. So,
yeah. Mikhail?
This is the beginning of something that I am ready for. It's the first time in like Star Wars content since I was a kid that I genuinely am like, I have no idea, and yet I have so many ideas at the same time. And it's gotten my imagination going in the most marvelous and wonderful of ways. I think it's brilliant to take this adventure to a different galaxy. I think it's brilliant to have antagonists like Baylan who represent a new type of nuanced villain. And I think that this entire series, everything we know about Thrawn is he is a very interesting, nuanced villain in that their intentions and their actions and where our characters fit into this narrative, we're about to experience, like, for the first time, not just like, oh, good guy, bad guy. I think we're about to see something genuinely gray in nature. And I say that with, like, fear and hesitation, because every time we've thought we were going to get that, they always go back to what's comfortable. I think this setup is great. I am glad that we are going to leave behind the very kind of muddled storytelling that is the New Republic and all of that. I feel like they did a nice little taste. They gave us what we needed, and now we're going somewhere completely new. I think what's interesting is there's a couple connective threads that I'm really excited to pull on in the next episode. I'm really interested to see who is that Inquisitor. You know, at the end of the Empire, particularly as the Last of the Jedi were really kind of officially wiped out, it was kind of alluded to that Palpatine removed the Inquisitors. But you also have all these examples of children who are Force sensitive being kidnapped. I wonder if some of the characters referenced in animated form, I'm just so curious who that Inquisitor is. And I feel like it has to be somebody based upon the way in which they've built him up. But also, what an interesting alliance. You know, and I think that also kind of sets up an interesting who are the other characters that might come out of the woodworks. I didn't think it at the beginning of this and with all the materials that came out, but part of me really wonders, like, is there going to be a connection to, like, Cal Kestis and that storyline? And in a way, if we were to move and have a whole separate narrative that exists in another galaxy, that can do its own thing without undermining what happens in the sequel trilogy and without trying to, like, backtrack on what Disney did, you know? And I kind of love that. That's a good place for all the great characters that we love, that we wish and probably should have been a big part of the sequel trilogy, now have the opportunity to have their own story in a new galaxy where it's a complete, clean narrative, fresh start. I think this is the beginning of something much bigger for Star Wars.
I still feel like they were building to the development of the First Order, though, via the Mandalorian and all that.
Well, and I think that will be part of it, but the threat that we have looming here strikes me as much scarier than Palpatine and the New Order and all that sort of, you know, and, like, not to get too deep into canon and you know, this, that, and the other thing, but, like, Thrawn's biggest fear and the reason that he joined the Empire was to recruit an ally that could help the Chiss Ascendancy fight an enemy that is beyond anything that we can comprehend.
Yeah. So it seems like what he's forming here are not necessarily pawns or henchmen. It seems like he's forming alliances. He's got a witch on his hands. He's got Jedis on his hands. He's got an Inquisitor on his hands.
Which is why I think our big reveal is going to be that Ezra, this Jedi that we've been looking forward to meeting in live action,
might be actually a part of the team.
And I think that maybe Ahsoka and company might find themselves joining that alliance, which represents something so unique and interesting to Star Wars, where now they're not just kind of defending their own isolated interest within the galaxy, but together they're defending the galaxy.
I don't know. I think that might be too big of a flip to do. You know, like at the end of the day, while Thrawn, always has been, Thrawn's one of those characters who I see people can defend going, he's not exactly a villain. I'm like, well, you know, he could have a lot of good intentions, but at the end of the day, the guy's a villain. Like, he is a villain at the end of the day.
But there's
some pretty fucked up stuff.
No, he has. But
I would argue it was justified.
Well, I mean, all right. So you guys have seen Oppenheimer.
Yeah, let's go that route.
No, I'm serious. Let's go that route. I mean, a lot of the decisions that Thrawn makes and that he's done is because he understands that his people are facing extinction. Throughout Rebels, for instance, when he and Hera really went face to face, his respect and admiration for her culture and preserving and protecting that history, that's not a villain attitude. That's somebody that understands that he needs to do what he needs to do in order to save his people, but he doesn't want to erase other cultures and history. Like, he never ran well with the other Imperials for a reason. And, like, we even saw that a little bit in The Mandalorian as they're like, well, you know, Thrawn is... Like, there are some that admire him and love him, but he's a complex blue fella.
I will give all those complexities at the end of the day. He always aligned with the Empire.
Because the Empire was the only force in the galaxy strong enough to stop an impending threat.
You can justify it however you want. At the end of the day, he still worked with the Empire.
Oh, all right. We worked with the Soviets during World War II, Greg.
It's not the same
Yeah,
thing.
but we hid a lot of stuff from them, and we side-eyed them every step of the way.
Yeah.
And then we hired the Nazis to help build spaceships because our moral principles are fluid. No, it's... I hope that as Star Wars fans that we are given those sorts of interesting dilemmas of characters, because it is really, really frustrating when somebody comes and they've got horns on their heads and they've got red and black faces and they're terrifying looking with their yellow eyes.
They're real angry.
Well, I'd say it's the same way of how you can understand the motives of Thanos, but at the end of the day, the guy's a villain.
Nah, dude, Thanos is right.
Yeah.
I mean,
me writing that
Thanos
on
is... I'm not going to defend Thanos in that...
I'm not going to defend the purple guy, all right?
Thrawn, if I'm remembering correctly, was not for the Death Star. He had some other...
Look at the last time we saw...
had some good
Let's look at the last time we
policies.
saw Thrawn. In order to get Ezra, he just started annihilating people on Lothal in order just to make a point to lure out, like, just innocent civilians.
I mean, is America a good country?
What are you making about that? I'm talking about Thrawn.
Do you want to talk about Agent Orange? I mean, like, but that's like, the thing is, historically speaking, I'm not saying he's a good guy, but I'm saying that in his mind, his ends justify the means. What's better, sacrificing the few for the many?
They do.
You know, it's the trolley problem.
I think
he's on a mission.
I think the scary part is when someone can see that he is, when we go, he's actually not. I think we have to. There is a line that has to be drawn when you can see that someone at the end of the day does skew towards the villainy.
Yeah,
and I think if you lose sight of that line, that's where it can get dangerous.
I think the audience needing to reconcile that is
I think it's a more interesting debate.
Challenge.
Yeah. Oh, that's a much more interesting
like
debate.
what happens when we get there, and then it's like,
Yeah.
oh man, if our characters don't like grin and bear it and deal with the fact that these guys are trying to protect the galaxy.
Yeah. Well, I think no, I mean even with Thrawn, there's something that separates him is his care. He does unlike a Vader or something who kind of can disregard life, he can there's a preciousness he can hold to history and life. So he does separate and stand out from them, which I do think makes him a very compelling person. I could see how he could actually form an alliance because he is someone who could look at the bigger picture at the end of the day and not just, and hopefully they don't just turn him into, I want to dominate everything.
No, and that was never his motive.
No.
And in reading the books, like, he has some really like meaningful relationships and cares for people, including Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Speaking of Skywalkers, I'm really interested to see if we will see a Chiss Skywalker, which is like a Force-sensitive Chiss youth that is able to navigate hyperspace lanes that are in the unknown regions.
Wow. You got that all from this one episode?
No.
Wow.
I had nothing but time in the woods this summer to read all Thrawn content and
Thrawn-tent.
Yeah, Thrawn-tent. Yum. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. Either way, this is different, and I'm real jazzed about something different.
I'm jazzed about it too. I do think from a storytelling standpoint, though, that I do feel like the show might have a challenge where it can keep too much of an emotional distance with the way their portrayals go down, because there is a lot of stoicism. Because I mean, that is something that's
pride. Good.
They've taken a lot of the. It is interesting seeing the characters they've brought over from the animated mediums. They have adapted them into this aged up, matured interpretation, but a little bit. I wouldn't say void, but have dialed back a lot of more of the animated personality of all. Like, I would say that for everyone here: Sabine, Hera, and especially Ahsoka. And that was something that stood out to me already with Ahsoka's appearance in Mandalorian, and it especially stands out to me here. Is at the end of the day, we have to connect to these characters on an emotional way in order to stay on board for the journey. Like, I love the mood. I love the aura. I love the menace. I love the stoicism. I love all of that. I actually really do love all of that. My concern is if it just stays that way for so long that there can be a lack of a pulsating feel and a drive that you kind of need to have. That, you know what I mean? That thrust into like, oh, my pulse is racing, as opposed to observation. Because right now there is a bit of a distance and a detachment, you know.
So a question for you then.
I am not exactly on the same Thrawn page as you.
That's fine.
A query, my good man.
But a query about Ahsoka as a character and what it would take to create that emotional. Because I agree.
Jokes?
At the moment, there's
They
jokes should be
fly
good.
now.
There is not a lot of chemistry at the moment, and I hope that changes.
I think with anyone.
I hope it's a choice, a deliberate choice, and that all of a sudden we have like an amazing pair. Part of me wonders, and I mean, there's been rumors about it, of Ahsoka flashbacks with Hayden Christensen to her as a Padawan. And I had this dream, okay? I had this dream that they didn't cast Rosario Dawson for the younger version.
They brought Ashley Eckstein back.
They brought Ashley Eckstein back, exactly.
That makes sense.
Because I feel like to be able to give people that may have never seen the animated, young, happy version of Ahsoka, that it would be good to tap into a little bit of that magic and also just create that narrative thread.
Well,
like, do you think that would be enough to...
I think we're going to need some flashback that explains exactly why her demeanor is such an antithesis to where we last left off with her. Because when we last saw her in Rebels, that was when Ezra pulled her out of that fight with Vader, so she dealt with that revelation, and then she went her separate ways. Where did she just go back to the temple ruins? Is that where she went in the World Between Worlds?
No, she went right back to the temple ruins, but then she went back she found them all, and then she helped them with all their stuff that they were doing.
Okay, is there like a whole gap there that I because
Yeah.
I'm just going off of what happens in the finale of Rebels.
Yeah. She disappeared, went off, was doing some adventures while
and that's the part of the gap that I think we need to
fill in
to understand why she's morphed so
and
much.
if you
into
buy
this.
the Amazing Ahsoka book for $19.95,
Is that canon?
I'm trying to remember if they touch on. I don't think they get that far.
Because some
in
of
the
these
Ahsoka
books
book.
and stuff are like canon and not canon.
The Ahsoka book is canon, but I don't think it goes on that long in her narrative. Like there is clearly a gap that needs to be filled, but also like losing several years of your life after finding out that your former master killed a bunch of kids.
This is the big bad.
I mean, was just
probably-
that he was the big threat to the empire.
Probably
right underneath the emperor. Yeah,
it probably set her back a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the. I think we have to factor that into it. At the same time, there is that, like you brought up the chemistry question, and I do think that like every individual performer is so good.
Agreed.
And I do think you have a great point with exploring the gray, which is what I've been saying. Likewise, I've been saying I want these live action shows to do more, and I feel like that's why we started off with Baylan. And do we know her name yet?
The other one.
I don't think she has a name yet. But she will.
The Apprentice. I think that's why we started off with them, because they are. I know Gray Jedi is something that like pisses off the Star Wars
internet.
Yeah, it does.
But they do seem to exist in a
they do seem to
chaotic,
exist in
neutral place.
Yeah, they do seem to be there.
It's there. I think there's an appreciation for the tradition and for the Force, but historically speaking, canonically, there's been plenty of Jedi that have veered off that path and that have done their own things. I mean, I feel like Jedi Survivor did such a great job exploring that theme. But it's. I think their chemistry is great, though. They're like for two very serious people that are like murdering people. Like, they're a great little pair.
Yeah, I don't know. You mean like Baylan and
and it
Well, I
definitely
think
feels more organic than Ahsoka and Sabine.
In ways, I feel like that whole crew, like Morgan Elsbeth and the group of them have, even though you haven't been spending much intimate time, there is something that feels like a more complete unit. And I do like the mirroring of like, we have sort of remnants of so many different casts of people and different specialized, abilities and things like that, and that plays off of what the Rebels crew is also. But they are all organized and they're going after their goal. It almost feels like they have the plot momentum, and our main characters are all catching up to that and sort of coming back together as a unit.
Yeah.
But if you haven't seen it, it doesn't feel deserved, or at least I imagine that's what it like. Like, at least I know the magic. Like, when I see Harrison Dula, like, my heart, like, flutters a little bit, because this is, like, a character that I've invested a lot of time in. If you're brand new to this, there's no... I don't know. It is... I agree with you, Greg. It is missing chemistry and a little bit of magic. And dare I say, maybe some comic relief in the form of a character, like Jar Jar Binks.
Got to get him back.
That would fix it.
Got to get him back.
Although, you know who would actually be a really great addition to this that I don't think they'll add, but I feel like Zeb is a great fine line between somebody that's funny.
If I wanted to simplify it, I would say that there is a weird lack of excitement. Like, I'm excited for what's to come. There's a lot I'm looking forward to. But when we get to action scenes, I don't find them. I think they're cool to look at. But I don't find the action particularly exciting.
I think you need one character who is kind of into this and is not just doing it out of burden and purpose. Like somebody who is a bit more of like a swashbuckler or something.
Yeah. I completely agree with that. And maybe they'll pick one up along the way.
I think when Zeb comes, because Zeb has to come into the show.
I don't know. That's expensive.
Oh,
that's why they just threw him in Mandalorian.
I think
you
it's
get
like
this one cameo, man.
I
think they could.
It would be amazing. But if you're gonna do that at that point, do it. Like,
they could
get
a
the
crazy
ghost,
animatronic.
get the crew, like, But I don't think they're going that direction. I think that Ahsoka and Sabine are going to this galaxy alone.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. Like Rebels is a real hit or miss show for me. Actually, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
It really is. I think the show is remarkably repetitive a lot of the time, and then when it's great, it's so great. That's one. So I'm not by any means this guy who's like, I just want it to be season 5 of Rebels. That's not at all my taste, because I would say even with season 4, a lot of times because that show has a certain pattern and a certain repetition. And then when it decides to really just propel forward and do some different stuff, I'm like, man, this show's firing on all cylinders. And I always thought Rebels was at its best when it was taking itself the most serious as well. So I'm by no means here going, I want it to be like the quirky, fun animation, but there is something here that right now I'm like, I still feel kept at a distance right now.
Yeah.
As much as I'm loving the observation piece, and I thought the first episode was more transportive than the second one.
I wonder if that's a Dave Filoni, because if you notice, most of the stuff that he's done in terms of the live action, where he's been, in the director's chair or the writer's
Gunslinger,
room, they're very relatively serious episodes.
Not the Gunslinger,
except for the Gunslinger. But I can imagine that he's kind of living in this interesting shadow of he's the cartoon guy, and now he's trying to be something more serious. I wonder if that's a hard thread for him as he's making that transition professionally.
Yeah.
Either way,
but
he's doing an extraordinary job.
I think visually this is a really compelling piece, and I do agree that this is actually exciting to see that they're building to something where I'm not like, okay, so we're just filling in the gap to the First Order,
Yeah. We have a foregone conclusion, and we're just doing stuff in between.
That's why I think it is smart to have, because I don't know the history all that well, but something Discovery of Force and everything divided up, and that's why we got like hyperspace lanes and shit like that in Purgil. It's all like fragmented in my mind of how it all goes. So to have this this unexplored region where you could have like this other story take place. It's not a multiverse. It's just
it's just a different galaxy.
Just,
it's a different
a whole
galaxy.
other region. And
no, please, John.
I thought this did a nice job to end off on a note that suggests that those missing elements of chemistry and camaraderie might be just around the corner now.
Yeah.
Or at least some kind of like engaging character friction, because they're setting off on the journey and they have she calls her Padawan.
Yeah. Well, they have Huyang here to help balance out.
Which is a great character, but not the funniest character in the world.
Get some of that David Tennant wit.
I mean, it's great. Well, we'll see. There's a lot of characters that I want to see in live action.
Name them all.
You want me to name all
Hondo.
of them?
Alphabetical order.
But actually, Hondo.
Hondo would be great. He
would be
was
the
involved in
perfect addition to
in
this.
the finale. He's a pirate.
No,
yeah.
that's exactly
he's
the
a
kind of
pirate,
character that we need.
Yeah.
That's it. And Maul. Bring him back again.
No,
more spider legs.
He's dead now, right?
More spider legs.
At this point, yeah. No,
Because he died in Rebels. He's dead. He's dead.
He did.
Yeah. Sometimes the timelines do confuse me. I want someone to put together the most ultimate watch.
The ultimate chronology.
Of just like put it all in order, from Clone Wars to New Hope to the prequels, and like intersplice with them.
Books,
Bad Batch.
comics.
So, Inquisitor theory. Okay, hear me out.
Is there an Inquisitor who survived? That we don't know?
I mean, theoretically, like there's several Inquisitors that were never fully identified. I don't know, and I don't think it's any of the ones that we've met thus far. Although, it would be really interesting to see, Barris. Although that didn't look like a Barris.
Remind me of Barris.
Barris is the one that played a role in framing.
The one who, she's the one who straight up framed Ahsoka. She's the one who completely framed Ahsoka.
She was mildly complicit.
Oh yes, they were
framing.
friends, and then
I always felt like that was an interesting narrative storyline.
I was
that would
thinking,
have been
like,
nice
what
to see a
Inquisitor's
conclusion.
named Barris? Oh yeah.
But it was heavily implied that she became an Inquisitor, and we never saw her.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I guess I don't recall
And
that.
if I'm completely wrong, feel free to rip me apart in the comment section. But the other
that's
character,
what led to the it would thematically tie in, because that's what led to her rejecting the Jedi Order. Yeah.
We should go and look at that person again and see if that's even a remote possibility. That Inquisitor. Is that a thing that we can do?
We can rewind.
Rewind.
You got it, John.
That's Could be.
It does look feminine.
Could be.
It does look a wee bit feminine. And it would also kind of explain this duel definitely felt like they've met before.
I'm used to Inquisitors vocalizing too.
Yeah.
And,
well, it would make sense not to do that if it's somebody that Ahsoka.
Yeah, this one felt like very quiet. Yeah.
Also, who Ahsoka wrecked every other Inquisitor effortlessly. It would make sense that this would be a more challenging duel for her if it was Barris. I would be super jazzed, connective tissue. Or it could be our favorite little Wookiee Jedi. I'm messing with you.
Actually, no, the Barris theory would line up because when she revealed herself to doing it, she thought like the Jedi went down. She thought she was putting an exposure on the dark paths the Jedi went down. So it would make sense that she would want to become a Jedi hunter.
But I don't think she necessarily wanted to become a Jedi hunter as much as she was forced into it. This character is no longer an Inquisitor. I think
right. Yeah, they're not.
But it would
still
make sense, like
yeah.
if Baylan represents this notion of the Jedi, like you don't have to be Sith, you don't have to completely be consumed by hate. However, to be weak, to not take the offensive, to fall into the plight of the Jedi and their very narrow-minded philosophy, that puts the whole galaxy at risk.
Yeah.
Baylan wants power not for the sake of power, but for the sake to protect what he loves, which is what Anakin wanted too. But Anakin fell to the dark side in that process. I think there's something really interesting going on here, and I think Ahsoka, on a level, philosophically, probably aligns closer with Baylan than one would expect at first glance, because her same feelings about the Jedi and their lack of action, their lack of... I mean, even we saw it in the very last season of Clone Wars when she pushed for them to go to Mandalore to protect people. Well, why shouldn't the Jedi do their job of being the defenders and protectors of the galaxy?
Well, I think the debate... there's a debate around is Ahsoka a Jedi or not, right? Like, that is such a question mark. But I think this show is intentionally going, we can define what a Jedi is. Like, I think we can land in a scenario where, oh my God, Sabine can be a Jedi and then not be using the Force somehow. I think there's a scenario where they can land in that identification.
Yeah.
You have these characters like Baylan took on an apprentice, but Baylan does not consider himself a Jedi, yet he's got himself an apprentice who is trained in the Jedi ways, you know. And then Ahsoka herself rejected the Jedi Order, and yet, you know, everywhere she goes, she's like, "That's a Jedi," but she says she's not a Jedi.
Yeah.
Like that's one of the words she said to to even Vader, like, "I'm no Jedi," right? Like she herself doesn't call. So I think maybe
why isn't she with Luke? Like she can't be with Luke because Luke's view of what the Jedi Order should become.
Yeah.
Is what the Jedi Order was. And
that's
because of poor writing, it became a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it ended up the same exact thing happened all over again.
But that's why I think her arc, Ahsoka's, will be that clarity on what, you know, the audience fights about.
I think yay. I hope, anyway, that what is transpiring here thematically, as Star Wars gets itself back on course, will connect with the Rey film that's coming out of what happens post. There's another galaxy,
the Ray
a whole
Charles
bunch of other
movie.
stuff. Yeah, the Ray Charles movie. All right. Well, I'm done talking. I've theorized enough for today.
We all have, especially John. He won't stop.
Yeah, get John.
Got so many theories based on the extended novels and got stuff, guys. It's gonna be crazy.
Close us out, John.
Guys, what did you think of this episode? Leave your nitpicks. Why do you think this is the worst thing Star Wars has done yet? Or inversely, why is this the best thing Star Wars has ever produced? Leave it below, and we'll catch you for episode 3 next week.
Is it Barris? I want to know what the audience thinks.
Yeah. Is it Barris? New question. Forget all that. Is it Barris?
John.
What
now
if it's,
tune in
what
next.
if it's Ezra?
Oh, that'd be cool.
Wouldn't make any sense, but I'll
No,
go with it.
not even slightly.
for it.
But stature-wise,
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah, stature-wise.
What if that's Zeb?
Well, guys,
Seb's become all gaunt. That'd be so funny.
Pick your favorite fan theory and leave it below, and maybe
is it a fan theory or a conspiracy theory at this point?
Your
John?
fan conspiracy theories. Pick your favorite and let Lucasfilm know that that's what you demand from the reveal and the finale coming up. Much love, and we'll see you next time. Force be with you and all that good stuff. I love you. I know. Peace out.